Okay, so beginners yoga. We are going to do a nice 20-minute beginners class, just touching on the highlights of what I think the highlights are in a good beginning to kind of discovering your yoga practice. So we're going to start our practice seated. So if you have yoga blocks, it's not mandatory, but for a lot of beginners, our hips are especially tight. So yoga blocks assist with getting your knees below your hips. So for me, I'm looking at myself and my knees are like kind of in line, but why not? I'm gonna add the block. If you don't have a block, you get a towel, right? You just roll up, give yourself some height. So we're gonna start in what we call in yoga land, easy seat. And I'm gonna face sideways because I would like you to see my spine. So things that come to mind with a beginner is number one, self-care. Always take care of yourself. If you're taking a class and what is suggested doesn't feel right for whatever reason in that particular moment, modify it until it does feel right. The most you should feel in sensation in pain is a 4. And that's on a scale of like 1 to 8, let's say. 4 is even 1 to 10. If you go beyond a 4, you're no longer practicing a practice to stay calm. So that's important, right? Second thing, your breath, pranayama. It's always an inhale and an exhale. It's a conscious inhale and an exhale. And we're gonna go through that in a little bit as well. But this is a quick 20-minute kind of get into it and just see how it goes. So you're comfortable now, you found your block, you've had time to find your towel. Take your seat, rest your hands with your arms straight to start. Feel your knees under your hips. Begin to settle your shoulders back. And if you're comfortable with closing your eyes, go ahead and close your eyes. And begin to tune in to the cadence in your breath. The smooth breath in, coming in through the nose. And we're going to start with coming out through the mouth. And I'd like to go through 6 of these. Just easy breath in, easy breath out. But as you're doing this, I'd like you to start to notice how deep the breath is. Is the breath only high in your chest? Is it reaching the abdomen? As we're just sitting here, I'm going to encourage you to find a deeper breath into the abdomen, which is going into the diaphragm muscle, to actually already begin to coax the spine, the back muscles to relax. And then from this position, after you've taken your 6 breaths, I'd like you to simply just turn your head all the way over to the right shoulder. And just keep your eyes steady. Don't start darting your eyes all over the place. And we're going to touch on another element in yoga called drishti. Drishti is the point of focus on your eyes. So you want your eyes to almost feel as if they're taking in a panoramic view, very soft, almost even fuzzy. Just to pick a place that you're gazing over, that just stay fixed on, where you can again locate your breath and notice with each exhalation that the muscles in the neck are softening. So much pressure is put on the head, the neck, the shoulders, that we really want to take this time to nurture ourselves. And then with the next inhalation, just come back through center, drop the chin down to the sternum. Notice as the skin begins to stretch at the back of the neck. And if you're able to completely let go of the muscle strain and tension at the back of the skull, almost feel like your face muscles are pouring down towards the mat. And then continue to find your breath. Steady inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. The next inhalation, lift your head up again. And then I'd like you to pull the head back to feel an activation of the high rhomboids. As you pull the head back, don't lift your chin, don't dump your chin, but almost feel like you're creating like a little turtleneck or a 3rd or 4th or 5th chin here, just to feel that nice strong plumb line and strength. Take another inhale here, soften the shoulders on the exhalation. And now we're going to turn our head to look over the left shoulder as far as you can, but not going to deepest point. You never want to go to maximum in yoga. You want to find that place of tension and then back away a little bit to find that sweet yet working place that you find this easy ebb and flow of your breath. Notice if you can relax the right shoulder more, because as you do so, you'll feel even more release through the right side of your neck. All of the ropey muscles on the side of your neck begin to soften and unravel. Explore your breath. What happens if you take a deeper inhalation? Do you get a bigger stretch? And an even more exhalation? Can you get a deeper letting go? And these are all things that are going to play out in your practice as things begin to create more space, or as we begin to create bigger movements. Good, then come back to the center. We're going to take the left hand over to the right knee. So at this position, I like to take my block out from underneath my hips because it's not quite comfortable for me to reach back with my hand. So I'd like you now to bring your right hand behind your right hip. Your left hand is straight, or left arm is straight on your right knee. And on your inhale, I'd like you to lengthen and find that straight spine. Pull your chin in. And on your exhale is your rotation, gentle rotation. You're looking over that right neck again. But this time, your upper back is taking a ride with you. So if you're turning and only your head turns and your spine isn't rotating, it's not really a release here. So it's an inhale to lengthen, to grow, and an exhale to turn, and then maybe close your eyes. If the drishti is becoming difficult for you to stay grounded into, and go inward. Good. And then we're going to go ahead, open the eyes if they were closed, come back through center, right hand to the right knee, left hand to the left knee. Take a moment again to lengthen. Find that strong posture, but sweet settling. And then we're going to go ahead and try this on the other side. Again, grow the spine, inhale. Right hand to the left knee, arm straight, left hand behind your left hip, and turn. So if you feel comfortable, you're not slouching, just go ahead and close your eyes and come into your breath. But if you feel like you're struggling here, and you're starting to lower your lower back is starting to round here, you want to get that block maybe, and you can bring it behind your left glute, just to give you a little extra height and support. You don't want to slump in these positions. You want the space to stay equal and available. Good. And then go ahead and come back through center. Okay, we're going to get our two blocks if you have them available. Place them in front of you. If you don't have them available, your hands on the floor will be just fine. We're going to come into tabletop. So tabletop is a really nice beginner's place to start in your balancing postures and to start to begin to activate the core. Wide blocks under your hands. They support for your wrists so that you don't dump all of your weight forward, and it's much easier. It acts as a fulcrum almost to bring the weight more into the legs, which is really our point of strength. So in your tabletop position, if you're using your blocks or not, begin to pull your navel towards your spine. And then I'd like you to start to press your toes, the toenail part, into the floor, and then press the palms of your hand into the mat. And then almost like you're turning your hands to the right and to the left as a dialing out sensation. Push into the floor, dial the hands out, but don't let them physically move. And feel how you can strengthen your core here, your shoulder muscles, and lengthen your neck. Now I'd like you to take 3 inhales and exhales, smooth. If you feel that you've lost your ability to breathe with that cadence, that means you're working too hard. And that doesn't mean just here, but in any posture as we begin to bring this practice into higher places or more advanced places. So notice what it's like to breathe here, to feel that activation, but still maintain that easy breath in and out. Good, then relax. Begin to shift the hips back and come into your first child's pose. So in child's pose, there are modifications as well. Block can go between your ankles. Hips can sit on the block for a much easier release of the hips. And if your forehead doesn't come down without your neck coming too much or your chin coming to your chest, there is another modification that you can bring a block under your third eye or under your forehead. So find what creates a suitable lengthening position for your body. No blocks, of course, is the other advanced option. And here, your eyes are closed. I will sit up, but stay in child's pose. And you're going inward. Anytime the body folds into itself or envelopes into itself, it's a moment for you to check in with yourself, to check in with the organization of your breath, of your sensations, of the feelings of maybe tightness and stiffness, and see if there's an opportunity for you to soften around those places, to breathe into those places, maybe a longer exhalation, to find more ease in places that were maybe not easy before. And now I'd like you to begin to shift your breath in and out through the nose only. We're not going to go further than that today. There are other forms of breath, but today, the purposes of just getting into this easy in and out through the nose breath, this is more an active breath to begin more of a dynamic movement in your yoga practice. But know throughout the practice, in any class that you ever take, child's pose is always an option. It's always a place for you to recenter, reorganize yourself, and then again, meet people where they were and join back in. On your next inhalation, just rise up again gently by pressing down through the feet, tabletop. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and lift up the right leg once you get into your tabletop. Go through all of those cues we went through earlier and begin to circle out the ankle. Find some mobility through the ankles. The ankles play a key role in balance postures, which is the next part of our practice. And then once you've gotten that ankle sorted out both directions, lift that right knee high. Notice if the right knee starts to open out. See if you can keep the right knee pointed straight down. Scoop in your belly again. Begin to shift your weight forward over your ankles. Press down through the hands until your shoulders begin to protract or round a little bit. And see if you can step the right foot in between your hands, all the way forward. If that's a challenge, that's not unusual. So you could start by bringing the right foot outside the right hand, taking the right hand, and kind of kicking up the foot to place it where you'd like it to land. Once you get to that position, we're going to play with the left toes. This is called a low lunge or Anjayasana. So some people with knee tightness or tendencies, your left toes tend to tuck in because they're afraid to put their knees down. You can untuck the left toe and press the toenail part down, and you'll see that you can still alleviate pressure off of the left knee by pressing down. Okay, from here, pull in the navel, find that straight spine that we've been looking for, roll the shoulders back, and on your inhalation, press down through the right foot and lift up the hands to the heart center. As you press down through the left foot, the right foot, begin to dial out that right foot like we did with our hands to activate the right glute muscles. You're in a low lunge here. Notice how your neck feels framed on your shoulders. If you're comfortable and you think you can proceed a little bit more, pull your bottom ribs in, lift your arms up, look up to the thumbs, and now your drishti point becomes your thumbs. Take 3 inhalations and exhalations here. Keep those ribs active, keep the right toe dialing out, and just begin to build strength and steadiness through the legs in this balancing and strengthening posture. Good. Now from here, bring the hands back through the center of the heart. Reorganize yourself. Take another inhalation to lengthen. And exhalation. And we're going to inhale to lift right back up with the arms again. This time I'd like you to send the hips slightly to the left and reach with your arms and your torso to the right. Notice here if your lower back starts to arch too much. You'll start to feel uncomfortable here. And then pull the ribs back in again towards the spine. And then be soft with the neck, either looking down at the right hip, looking over at the left arm. And then I'd like you to find 3 to 6 breaths here, in and out through the nose. We're stretching out the left deep side of the body, the skin, the fascia, the muscles. Bringing in some release, taking care of the insides of our body. This is generally the tightest part of the body in everybody, or everybody. Good, inhalation, lift all the way up. Exhalation, bring your hands down. Step the right leg back and mobilize your hips. Let it all release. And then we do the same thing on the other side. So we're gonna lift again the left leg. Make sure the right hip doesn't pop out, right? Keep the left knee pointed down, press down through the hands, dial out the hands, Press through to get the back rounded on the top, and then circle out the ankle. Begin to activate the hands, the right foot. Get mobile through that left ankle so it's much easier to bear weight on it, and compromise positions for the body where we build the strength. Okay, now we're gonna look between our hands, pull in our navel, bring that left foot in between the hands. And you'll notice that I even lift up my left palm of my hand in order to create that space, so that's fine. From here, we lengthen our spine. We get our shoulders back. We press down through the left foot, dial it out. Adjust our toes so that we feel supported on our right knee. And then we're gonna lift up on the inhale by pressing into the left foot, hands to the heart center. Just feel that activation here of the legs, of the core. Soften the shoulders, pull the neck in, the chin in, like we did at the very beginning. If this is okay, you stay here. If you've got more length, you can keep the ribs contained. Good, lift the arms all the way up. The arms are ahead of the ears, ahead of the temples, and your drishti is at the thumbs. Can you stay in this steady place, your focus, your strength, with steady inhale and exhale through the nose? If your shoulders begin to cover your ears, lower the arms a little bit ahead of you, because we want our bodies to build a memory, a muscle memory of a way to keep our spine straight. A place of confidence, not compromise. And then bring the hands right back down to the heart. Soften the shoulders, reorganize the waist, and then inhale, lift all the way back up again. This time the hips are gently gonna reach just a tiny bit to the right, torso left. And on this one, I'm just framing again the head. My arms are actually slightly forward of my head. And again, my neck, I'm gonna look down for me today. My neck is a little sore on the right side. So I wanna feel even more of a stretch here. So my chin's gonna kind of look left. My inner thighs are active. And I'm breathing, and I'm working hard. I'm working really hard here. I'm not just hanging out. My legs are active, my core is active, my arms are active to strengthen my chest. My back is stretching, the side of my body is stretching. Good, then press down through the left foot, squeeze your core in, inhale, lift all the way up, exhale, the hands come down. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and come to standing. So for some of us, we may need to actually bring that left knee down and roll to the side and kind of just make our way up any way we can to safely come up. Some of us can just simply step forward by lifting up the right knee here, scooping in the tummy, and taking a giant step forward. So get to this forward fold position, and then today, we're just gonna come all the way up for the purposes of our class. Come all the way up to standing. As you come up all the way to standing, again, we're gonna start with the hands at our heart center. We're gonna take maybe just 3 breaths in mountain pose. We're gonna skip over too many alignments for right now for our time purposes. And just find a nice strong plumb line. Resettle the shoulders. Press down through the big toes. Press down through the big toes to activate the inseams of the thighs. Pull the bottom ribs in. Just take one more breath. Good. And then go ahead and reopen the eyes. Okay, we're gonna step our feet out wide. And I'm gonna say wider than our hips. A lot wider, actually. And then open up your arms like a T. And then check out your ankles. Are the ankles pretty much underneath the wrists? They don't have to be perfect, but enough. And we're just gonna do a warrior 2 pose for our standing pose today. So we're gonna start by turning the right toes 90 degrees exactly where it is. And if you look down at your right foot, your right heel is kind of intersecting the left arch. And that's what you want your feet to do. For any reason, if your left knee feels compromised, your right knee, adjust as you need to feel organized in your own body. And then you're gonna bend the right knee, but not for the purpose of bending the right knee, but for the purpose of bringing the right hip low. And if you look at me, you'll see that my knee is not going ahead of my ankle, it's not behind my ankle. I'm trying to get it right in line with my ankle. Good. And then you're gonna look at your arms. Is the left arm even with the right arm? Play with your proprioception. So a lot of people, they'll go right into warrior 2 and forget about this back arm. And that's your proprioception. kind of see, forget about it, but then peek. Is it where you thought it was? Build that awareness, that balance. And then once you arrive in your warrior two, again, your right foot is dialing out. Your left foot is pressing down. The right knee is not collapsing in. And you breathe. You breathe to keep the right hip behind the right leg. 2 more breaths. This pose is meant to find your courage, your strength. It's warrior pose, right? And then on your next inhalation, press down through the right foot, straighten the right leg, lift the arms over your head, turn the right toes to the same direction of your left toes, and bring the hands to the heart and soften your shoulders. We're going to repeat that on the other side. Left toes open up. Right foot just, for me, I like to actually even turn it in a little bit on this side. Left hip as low as I can get it to comfortably support. Left knee over the ankle. Okay, my left foot's dialing out. My right big toe's pushing down. My arches are lifted. My arms rise. I put my arms where I think that they should be. And then I kind of peekaboo to the back. Oh, that's higher than I thought it was. Let me lower it. And then you find your drishti, your gaze. Your arms should be straight but not locked. The moment your arms lock, you're going in or past muscles and going right into bone. We don't want that. We want our muscles to always be active. We're not going to the point of drastic measures, just to the point of sensation of strength. Let's do one more inhalation. And then inhale, left leg straight, left arm, right arm over your head, turn the left toes, hands to your heart, and just heel toe until you land right back at center. Good. So we're just gonna come right back down to the floor. And we're gonna lay down. All the way on your backs with your knees bent. We're just gonna take a minute here. So as you lay down, you take a minute here. Realize that you've gone through a lot of stuff in a very short period of time that are gonna provoke a sense of balance for the rest of your day. So with your knees bent, you're also nurturing the lower back. Just in case you did too much, you feel this support. Your feet are even and on the ground. And we call this Shavasana. The place of ultimate release. The place of bliss, of stillness, of gathering. Gathering energy, restoration, and softness to the body. So I hope you enjoyed our first beginner's class today. Stay here in Shavasana as long as you have time for it. And I hope to see you for the next class. Have a wonderful day. Namaste.